Alright, hello, hello, everybody, it's your boy Jmulls of Jmulls Gaming here for the Final Fantasy XVI trailer. Those who may be catching me live right now, I am live reacting to this on my YouTube channel, not Twitch stream, YouTube channel stream. What's going on here? Dude, nice wings. Okay, we got Garuda, Ifrit. So, I did turn on the subtitles, thank you. Appreciate it. Yo! Okay. Feel itself the icon. Yo, the music! That music's a bop! Okay, that red mage coat drip, I like it. The combat looks clean. They keep getting better with this real-time action combat. They keep getting better with it. Oh! Oh! The aerial combos look good. Oh, yes! Stone Jailer? That dude looked like a Dark Souls villain. They let Yoshi P make an M-rated game. The Mad Lads did it. I think. It still might qualify as take. Yo. Oh, the scale of these battles is so good. I love the gore, the viscera. I would do you shake the island to its foundations. Gotta feel these are not official subtitles. Oh yeah. I love how Titan just blocks it with a punch. Those 80s movie action deflection ever. I love it. Ifrit versus some dude. Ramahu! Oh, Judgment Bolt looked clean! Diamond Dust looked great as well. Do we have... Oh my god, we actually have primal boss fights. Was that Odin? Is that Bahamut? Oh, hell yes. Dude, that dude just got a bad day. That is Bahamut. That was Mega Flare.
The Empire will live on.
Dude, did you not see we just had, like, Odin and Bahamut fight each other? You're not living on. I don't care what kind of empire you got. Oh, they're just, like, name-dropping everybody. It's like the gang's all here for Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy XVI, I need that yesterday. You told me like 2 months ago this game was basically almost done. I'm gonna need that game airdropped to me by helicopter ASAP. Did Ifrit just uppercut some dude? Oh, dude, rip that guy's jawline. Summer 2023? That's not yesterday. That's a wrap, sure it is. We're going straight back to Final Fantasy XVI. Okay, this looked freaking incredible. We saw some more gameplay. The bit I really liked about the gameplay, I'm not gonna lie to you. Where the hell is it? Where are my freaking primal boss fights? Here we go. We actually get to have kaiju primal fights. Oh my god. Yes. Yes, give me. Now, the real question. Who the hell are we controlling? Oh my god, I just had a theory. Because, if you remember from the Awakening trailer, there was a fight early on, we suspect it's early on, of Phoenix versus Ifrit. And in that fight, it was Joshua, the little kid, that turned into Phoenix, but we didn't know who turned to Ifrit. And we saw that that the main character, the protagonist, had fire powers later on. Some of us assumed that was because he took the power of Phoenix, but I posited earlier in this stream that it could have been that Ifrit's powers. What if, maybe, perchance even, what if the protagonist was the primal guy, whatever they want to call him, for Ifrit, and they both went backcrap crazy, and they had a fight, and a bunch of people died, probably Joshua included. And what if, in order to, again, gain those powers, those spells we talked about earlier, that we are clearly using throughout the gameplay, we have to have kaiju primal fights against these jabronis, and then we get their power. I saw you, Odin! I saw you! I spy with my middle eye! Guess my right and my left eye. Dude, Mega Flare looks clean. It looks crispy. It looks immaculate. I loved how Mega Flare looked. That looked so good.
Another can be built. The Empire will live on.
Dude, you give me the power to cast Mega Flare. I don't care how big your empire is. You are not stepping up to me. I am just telling you, forewarning you, letting you know, post haste. You don't have a prayer. You don't have a chance. I don't care if we're on one-hit kill mode. You are getting obliterated frame 1. Did you not see the amount of damage they did in these primal fights earlier? And this was like Garuda. Like, look. Hold on, it's going to show a number in a second. Watch this. 35k. Mind you, this is Final Fantasy, where the max you can hit is 9999. That's 4 nines. So, if I can just, like, bust out a clean 35k, what the hell kind of, like, borderline, like, match tech troopers you gotta roll out that are not gonna get immediately clapped into oblivion? Literally Yugimoto Shadow Realm, all of them. And you give me Odin and Bahamut with Mega Flare? You're done. Frame 1. Frame 1. In fact, not even frame 1. Because you don't even get a frame. You get a little IOU letter that you have to, like, pay me back for my time spent. Because I'm going to obliterate this entire game. Oh my god. I wasn't suspecting we can just play as the Primals. Did Odin deflect Mega Flare? I wasn't even looking at that before. Also, appreciate the Shiva drip. Appreciate it. Okay? We can move on now. Those guys had a terrible day. Oh my god. Those guys just got, like, icicled into oblivion. Also, I feel bad, personally. Like, my heart's out to whoever's, like, standing beneath this fireball. Like, I know you probably had, like, 2 days left until retirement. And you're just like, you know what? I'm going to stand in this particular spot just for the hell of it. And all of a sudden, you get obliterated into, like, the next life. And the fireball was so intense, you don't even get to go to heaven. You get to go, like, to heaven 2. Like the sequel. I'm telling you, you cannot tell me that didn't look clean. Bahamut. We do play as Ifrit, so Ifrit is the main character, or we become Ifrit's dominant early on. That's also a storyline they could tell. That would be cool. I mean, it's Creative Business Unit 3. It's Yoshi P. We are expecting this game to be a banger. At least I am.
Another can be built.
And it's not just the giant primal fights that looked awesome. Hold on, Titan, Garuda, Ramu, Shiva, Odin, Bahamut, Ifrit. And they're really putting a lot of emphasis on Ifrit there. A lot of emphasis. So that just basically solidifies it for me that the main character is Ifrit's dominant. I feel like we can pretty much lock that in, or at least he becomes Ifrit's dominant at some point in the game. And I imagine it would be kind of early on. Yeah, we have Ifrit here and then Phoenix here. Okay. In a world ruled by tyranny and turmoil, there are those who would fight to take back control of their fate. We call those people WoW players. Okay. Now, where's the hand-to-hand combat? Because I need to talk about this. Their hand-to-hand combat looked freaking clean. I love how this trailer is like 50% giant kaiju primals just fighting it out, and the other 50% are just a bunch of poor, like, Minutemen getting literally wrecked in every imaginable way. Like, dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Like, I'm telling you. Look at this. Look at the AoE. This poor dude got his, like, chest out for, like, whatever reason. Someone's getting it on. Oh! Hold on. We are not ignoring these Ramu moves. I'm assuming these are Ramu moves, because that looked like lightning to me. Wait a minute, that was Shiva. That's ice. Oh, we're using... we can combo the elements together. Oh, wait a minute. We can see in the top left there. We have Garuda. We have... Who the hell is that? I'm going to assume that's Ifrit. And we have Shiva. Okay. We have Arrow. I see. Okay. So we have potions on the left. So we use the D-pad, huh? Use the D-pad for your consumables. Okay. And then you use the face buttons. I see what they did, you cheeky sons of... I see what you did. Yoshi P, you're not getting this past me. I see what you did. You brought over the controls from Final Fantasy XIV, didn't you? The controller? Yeah, didn't you? I see what you did there, Yoshi P. You're slick, but you're not getting that past me. So, for those who may not be aware of what I'm talking about, if you look in the middle of the face buttons in the bottom right corner of the screen, in fact, no, it's like right next to my audio visualizer. You can see right there, you have the 4 face buttons, each doing different abilities. You have Arrow, Deadly Embrace, you have Jump, and you have Attack. But you can hit R2, and I'm suspecting that if you hit R2, you get 4 different face buttons. So it's going to look kind of like how Xenoblade Chronicles 2 look in terms of that, or in terms of how Final Fantasy XIV tends to do its button layout for controllers. Looks like depending upon which primal you have selected, you use that element with triangle and R2. I agree. I figured a bit more than that. I wonder, actually, if R2 lets you swap primals. No, it's L2. It's interesting. I kind of want to see more of this. So, I definitely agree that if you swap primals, which are basically your loadouts here, that you get different abilities. So, if you go to Shiva or Ifrit, your Arrow and Deadly Embrace would swap over to that primal's abilities. So, I'm also wondering what's the cooldown on that. Because are they aiming for more fast-paced, combo-oriented gameplay? Let's see, do they actually swap it in here? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Actually, you can see right there, pause, right there. So when you hit R2, it changes your triangle and your square. So it changes those 2 buttons to be more primal-oriented abilities. So, what it appears to me is you have a basic primal ability as standard, which is for Shiva, Cold Snap, and you have a jump button. Then, you have 2 other face buttons with your triangle and your square. And your square as basic is just a basic attack. Yeah, hit him with the sword. But if you hit R2, you get access to more primal specific abilities. So I am really wondering how much you can combo this together. Watch. Right after this, you can see him swap. Boom. Uses the ability and swaps. There's a jump cut there. The jump cut makes me think the cooldown to swap to different primals might be a little bit longer. So you got 4 primal abilities in total then. It appears to be that way. Yeah, it seems like you have 4 as of this point in the game. Because I feel like they could easily do it to where... Let me see. Do they press the button again? Because it looked like to me, when they hit R2, does it appear to anybody else that Cold Snap and Jump looked like as if it was slightly made less opaque? Because it feels like to me, what they could do is over the course of the game, you unlock even more primal abilities that you can use. So maybe at this point in the game, when you hit R2, you get access to 2 new abilities. But if you do another boss fight, you unlock 3. If that makes sense. I can kind of see them going that route as well. I don't think it actually turned opaque at all. But they clearly made that dividing line, so I'm wondering if that has like any actual impact in the game. Because I'm trying to imagine how they're going to do power progression throughout this game, right? Because clearly we're going to go around the world and get different primals and get their abilities to use in combat. But I'm wondering if they're also going to allow us to have more abilities that we can use over time. Not just in terms of different primals and their loadouts, but having more abilities to use for each primal. That could be another sense of power progression they can use maybe in the late game to just spice things up a bit. Oh, we have a combo counter here as well. Interesting. Also, shout out to that map. Diamond Dust 2. Iconic Strike, Gambit counter. Gambit! Son of a... Okay. That AoE was clean. I feel bad for this dude. This dude's just trying to flex. And we're just coming in and obliterating him with, like, dark magic.
That we may bring an end to the strife, and found a new order to see us unto tomorrow.
Okay, so... Here's my... That's a good point, honestly. It could also have a skill tree to unlock more primal abilities and maybe more primals as well. That's a really good idea with the skill tree, by the way. Because we don't know if these abilities are just the ones you get, or if you choose these abilities for these primals specifically. So it could be kind of like the Leviathan Axe in God of War, to where you get, for each primal, you have a separate like skill tree, and you can unlock different abilities and slot them in like different loadouts. That would be interesting to see if they go that route. But my main concern, right off the bat, is how animation locked are we here? Because, watch this again, and pay attention to how much you're actually pressing a button here. As it transitions here. How much are you actually pressing an ability? Because this that looked heavily animation locked. At least to me. That could work, because, like, in Doom, when you did the finishing abilities, they were very quick, very fast, so it wasn't that big of an issue. But if the game is like, press a button, wait 2 seconds, press another button, I wonder if they're going to go with the GCD style for their MMO for Final Fantasy XIV, and try and implement that into Final Fantasy XVI's combat. I wonder if that could work. The red primal he used before is different to the red bird one. Yeah, so the red bird one, I believe, is called Phoenix. I think that's the one you're referring to. And the primal that the protagonist here has seems to be Ifrit here. Oh, wait a minute. This ability is called Phoenix Shift. So do we get Ifrit and Phoenix? So, do we unlock Phoenix early on, or is this just a different Firebird? I don't imagine they're going to have two different Phoenixes. Well, they could do like a good Phoenix and a bad Phoenix, if they really want to land it home. That's interesting. That's something to look out for. Interesting. Again, half this trailer is literally just Minutemen getting literally obliterated in every imaginable way. Who the hell was this dude? This dude's name is Hugo Kupka. Okay. What is this dude's body armor? It's like molten lava. Or like crystals or something. I think that... Hold on. I got an idea. This guy looked like Titan. So I wonder if this is Titan's dominant. And then after this battle, we get the Titan primal battle. I feel what you're saying. It didn't look too button heavy, though. If they have a good flow between the animation and button, it could still feel really good. I agree. Like, I love Final Fantasy XIV's combat flow, and that game operates on the 2.5-ish GCD system. And for those who don't know, GCD stands for Global Cooldown. It essentially means how long you have to wait from pressing one button to the other. And I wonder if they might have other ways to fill in the gaps there. They might just lean into the idea of having these animations feel very visceral, very tactile, and very rewarding to press. They could lean into that as well. It could be limited to each primal, so you could just, if you wanted to, quickly swap between different primals to get different abilities out quick. He looks like Titan. I completely agree. I feel like it's a safe bet to assume that guy is Titan's dominant. So we'll probably fight him, and then that might lead into the Titan boss fight. I feel like this scene right here is a fake out, and that these scenes are actually connected. That guy looks cool. Give me half a second here. Sorry about that. Okay. Bahamut looks cool. Odin looks sweet. Icon of Fire, that's it for it. Let's just like call a spade, right? Dude, why does Titan have, like, more drip than the Jailer did? Dude, that fireball was nice! Okay. I need Ramuh. I'm telling you, the most satisfying summon in almost every Final Fantasy game is always Ramuh. There is something about having some dude with a massive white beard jump into the sky and rain down more thunder and lightning than Thor in Infinity War that will never not be satisfying to me. Diamond Dust. Okay, we're fighting Garuda and we're controlling Ifrit again. Odin looks cool. I love... Look, I am a sucker for when it comes to dragons shooting stuff out of their wings. There's something about it that looks awesome. Which you can transform into your primals. It does. I think that's how you get new primals. So what I think they're going for here is when you're going to go get a new primal to add to your kit, you have to fight the big dude or the big primal. You fight them in these giant primal battles. When you win, you then get that primal form. So kind of like Pokemon. Actually, very much so like Pokemon, now that I think about it. So this is basically Final Fantasy Pokemon Edition, and I'm kind of here for it. Okay, again, those guys got wrecked. That poor dude just burning alive.
Another can be built. The Empire will live on.
I'm telling you, the Empire's not living past this. I'm sorry to break it to you, Emperor dude. It's not happening. And so I think it's clear to me, at least, that we are going to be controlling Ifrit. They are clearly going for this fire on fire aesthetic here, with Phoenix on the left of this logo and Ifrit on the bottom right here. I feel they're clearly trying to lean towards that in some regard. And I still think if you build off of the Awakening trailer, that we have this big fight between Phoenix and Ifrit, and we assume that happens early on, right? To kickstart the events of the game, the revenge plot that's going to happen. We assume that happens early on, and I agree that it happens early on. I think it might happen a little bit later than people think. Maybe at the 5 to 10 hour mark, maybe that's when it happens. Probably closer to the 5 hour mark. They're clearly going for a more darker, more mature tone with this game. So I'm really interested to see what happens when you just let Yoshi P and that writing team just spread their wings and just let them tell the story the way they want to do it. Really interested to see where we go from here. Who the hell was that? Hold on, we're not glossing over this. Who the hell was this? That has to be Titan, right? Also looks like the little boy that looks like an MC has a connection to the Phoenix as well. Yes. That character's name is Joshua, I believe, and it seems that Joshua is the holder or the wielder of Phoenix. So it seems to me that the little Joshua boy has the power of Phoenix, while we as the protagonist, the edgy Final Fantasy protagonist, will at least get the power of Ifrit if we don't already have it at the start of the game. That was sick? Yeah, it was. There's so many cool visuals in this trailer. I need to see what Ramuh hit with that Judgment Bolt. Because you know he just laid some devastation on someone. And you know somebody's going to feel that in the morning. I need to see what he just hit someone with. Dude, that Diamond Dust was clean. Yo, Garuda looked awesome.
There will be losses, it is true.
I love the horse just trying to run in midair. I love that. Where was the beginning of the trail again? Back here.
There's going to be another war, isn't there?
Every day we delay brings us.
Telling you that guy's the Red Mage. Imperial Lancer. So either that Lancer fight is a really long one, or he becomes a standard boss fight throughout the game. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Orcish Mesmerizes. So there's orcs in this game. I love how fantasy this game feels. Look, I don't mind the modern aesthetic 15 had. I love me some fantasy, though. Oh, God. That's just satisfying. Ooh. Ooh. You know what? Right here. Does it look like the plus Deadly Embrace? So it seems like those abilities with long animations was the circle button ability. It was Deadly Embrace. So this is Deadly Embrace. And it moves into Phoenix Shift immediately. That's what it looked like to me. Interesting. Go back to the meat grinder there. Ooh. With multiple mobs, that's going to be so satisfying to hit. That freaking Beyblade ability and you're just shredding fools. That's going to be so satisfying if you can get a group of enemies together. Oh, yeah. Also, shout out to the winged hussars over here. Hold on, we're not ignoring them. Look at these dudes just running in on their chocobos. When the winged hussars arrived, that dude had a bad day. Okay, calm down there. Yep. Titan's dominant. That's the word, dominant. So, to wrap this up, main things that I'm seeing immediately, scale. The scale of this game. I love the scale of the battles. Really hope we can see those fights in real time and participate in them, and that they're not just glorified cutscenes. I really hope that's the case, that you have the power with the PS5 to do that now. I'd love to see that. The combat looked pretty smooth. I love the seemingly diverse and large number of buttons we have to press with the different primals we have access to. That looked really cool to me. I'm a bit concerned about the overall pace of the combat, but I feel like I might just be overanalyzing that. It looks cool. It looks really cool. And the regular attack button looked fast enough, so it's probably not that big of an issue in the grand scheme of things, and it was just probably how they edited that particular scene. My other main concern, funnily enough, comes from here. Because they are very cutscene heavy here. These giant primal battles, and these definitely feel like we are taking part of them. Is it going to be like that scene in Nier Automata where you control Engels, right? You control a giant Goliath-class Titan, and you press like one button every 10 seconds? Are we going to go that route, or... I'm assuming the overall pace of these battles will be slower and more methodical because of that. And that could be a really good change to the overall pace of the combat to keep variety and keep the pace different. That has a ton of potential, but they need to nail the execution here, so it doesn't just feel like a massive slog through where you're very animation locked. I don't mind having some animation locked, and maybe these abilities are just like fighting game finishing moves in the combos. Because I'm assuming we're not going to have like Diamond Dust every button press for Shiva. I'm assuming that's not the route we're going to go here. By the way, I'm just going to point this out. Look in the top left there. How did I not notice that before? Can you swap what primal you're playing as in these primal fights? Can you just do that? Because that could be really freaking cool. And it could also open up another avenue for making these kinds of fights a visual cinematic experience coupled with a more methodical, possibly turn-based style. That's an idea there to not completely give up on the turn-based gameplay of Final Fantasy. Have that incorporated into these primal fights and make them more turn-based in their execution. That way you can kind of have the newer iteration of Final Fantasy combat with the human, fast-paced, real-time combat, and you can have these giant primal fights be turn-based. That could be a cool way to do it. Possibly have it be an ATB gauge somewhere here. I'm assuming this gauge right below the health is mana, so I'm not assuming that's the ATB gauge. They might just go pure turn-based with this. Be really interesting to see where they go from here with this, because I don't think we saw them actually pressing buttons here. It seems like they're only showing, specifically,
There will be losses. It is true.
that
Yet for every
the actual
citizen of
animations and not the gameplay of those giant primal fights.
every home that
See,
burned,
it started in Mega Flare and end before that animation's over.
will live on.
So yeah, that was awesome. Really loved what I saw there. And Final Fantasy XVI is looking good. It's looking really good. I'm really interested to see how they pull this off. And see what their ideas were for a lot of these various gameplay styles they have in here. Really interested to see that. I want to see how you explore the world, how that operates. Is it more of an open world? Is it more linear corridor, instant-based areas? I want to see where they go from here. So much potential here. Rule of Cool seems to be the name of the game. But it's Yoshi P. And I know he's going to make sure that the game has a good story to go along with it. And you know I'm looking forward to that. When this game releases, I will be on the channel. But it's like a year out, so sucks to suck. But, hey, we might get some more trailers in the meantime. Maybe a demo, hopefully, maybe, possibly. So, I'm going to call the video and the stream there for the day. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure for making the video and the stream. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content and future videos. And I greatly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a comment down below with your thoughts on this state of play and on the Final Fantasy XVI trailer. Let me know what you think. I'm curious to see. Stay safe out there, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.